Hello and welcome to the space that gives you inspiration on work, on life, and how to balance both worlds. The love month of February is the month that I feel that, you remember the time I told you I wanted to answer questions and there were those on love? This is the week that I want to answer those questions. So, let's dig into your questions that you had for me on love, marriage, and relationships, which is life in the work-life balance question. I honestly think what matters when it comes to relationships is how the person that you're with makes you feel about yourself. And if they're the same age as you or older than you, I'm not sure about younger than you, especially for men versus women, because I've not done that before. I have no experience. I would say as long as they make you feel good about yourself, I think they're a good person to get married to or to be in a relationship with. So Brian and I, how long did we date? We dated 1 year after the proposal. We dated for 2 years before the proposal, and then we were in this on-off thing for like 4 years before. So, okay, I'll go with 2 years. I'll go with 3 years. The two that were officially in a relationship, and then the 1 year after the proposal. Failed relationships to work again. You see, the problem is I don't understand what the word failed means. But in my particular situation, I know that, for example, in the 1 year after Brian had proposed, we actually broke off the relationship. Not that, I don't know if now that we would call that failure, but we took a break and we had to work through some things, and so it worked. If it is about a relationship where, I mean, truth be told, I love love. So I actually do believe that sometimes failed relationships, failed marriages can actually come back. I really do believe, as long as you've solved the core of the problem that caused you to have a failure in the relationship the first time. Run from a partner who's a man that has lost a job and he's doing nothing. At the very least, let him get up, get out of the house and do something. If he seems lazy and you've talked to him about it and nothing is changing, my brother is looking at me right now like, what are you gonna say? And so I'm just like, oh damn, I hope I don't make a mistake. But I think ultimately talk about it. Like, you have no idea what's going on, but if even after you've talked and you've gone past 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and he looks like he's getting comfortable with you doing his work, girl, it's time to get out of there, girl. Except if it's a marriage. I'm sorry, darling. You said better for worse. For better for worse. Heart and loneliness. I think because of, let me tell you something interesting, is that when two people can do the same thing to you, your lover and your friend, but the one that will usually hurt more is the one, like when it's your lover who has done it. And I guess it's because those are the people that we believe are here for us. They are the people that we love. We're the people that will never disappoint us. And so we put them on a certain pedestal for them not being able to hurt us. So in terms of dealing with hurt, you need to realize that the person that you're with is human and is as human as anybody else. And so they are going to hurt you inevitably. And so when they do hurt you, usually just let them know that you've hurt you. But even more importantly, go to God with this pain and this hurt, because sometimes, yes, it can be really painful what our lovers and our husbands or spouses do to us. To be honest, just really does. It depends on you. For those of us that have to go to God, it depends on what God tells you about that person. But I think in general, your gut, trust your gut. Trust your gut. Many times, I've heard someone say that many times our gut is actually the Holy Spirit. So listen to your gut. If you're not ready, don't do it. Don't, no matter how much it seems like it's right. If you don't feel that there's something right, don't do it yet. You're not yet ready. Yeah. That's a time frame. The time frame is when you're ready. That's a time frame. So that means you're going to change your religion, right? Your question is very clear. How do you get your family to turn? The truth is, they might never ever. So, and you're also not getting married to your family, nor his family. So, I guess you have your work cut out for you. You're having to choose between your family or the person that you love. But can I say something? Please DM Rosette Najemba Seguja, my bestie. She'll have some really wise words to give you. That's Brian and I. So absolutely, yes, I do believe in young, ambitious couples ready to do life together. Yep, I do. 100%. I don't even think it's anything about my view. It's just about what the word says. I think that sex has been designed for the confines of marriage, and there's a reason as to why that happens. I remember once listening to one of our pastors here in this country who said that there are some people who can I request that my children get out of this room, please? I request, please, Blake and Bianca, please, just give me a few minutes to answer just some small questions to the people. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Bye-bye. You can say bye to people. Just say, you'll come back. You just give me a few minutes. Guys, I once listened to a pastor who said, especially for the women, that our area down there sometimes is not the same as for everybody else. Okay? Some people have, he called it stones. Others feel like sand down there. Others smell of fish. And he said, if for any reason, because you can't know what it is like down there for yourself, you best keep it until marriage, so that the one who falls in it is there for better, for worse. Now imagine, you're sleeping with him before and he finds that you have sand or that you're closed in. You've heard of cases where people are closed in and all their airways have to be closed off for the vagina to open. Yeah, that could be you. And now here you are sleeping with him before time. Yeah. Let's wait until we're married. Then he finds out, oh man, what did I fall in? Seriously though, to be more serious, there's an entire spiritual connection that happens with you every time you sleep with someone. Sex is spiritual, and so when you sleep with someone, there is an intertwining of your spirits. And so if that's the case, sleeping with someone before time means that by the time you get married to the final person that you should be married to, you're intertwined already with the spirits of somebody else. And when we say spirit, we mean more than just their spirit. We mean their background, their mannerisms. Now just because you slept with someone 10 years ago, now your child has a certain problem that was of that person's great grandmother. It just doesn't. Yeah. But also the sexual experience with someone is best done with someone who you know you're going to do it with for a lifetime, or at least for a very long time in your lives before God calls one of you. And it's such an experience. You go through what you like, what you don't like, how they can do it better, how they did it badly. But now imagine you having to do that, communicate that communication with 3 guys, 4, 5 guys. Why do that to yourself? Yeah. Absolutely no. I don't think it's okay to have sex before marriage, because I believe that sex mars certain critical conversations. There's certain things that you won't see about someone just because you're having sexual intercourse with that person. They might be angry people. They might be he might be in Luganda. They call it, the man might be omukodo. He can only give you money just because you've had sex. And in marriage, you don't have sex all the time. That means when you don't have sex with him, you won't get married. But now you won't know that because you're already having sex with him now, and then he's giving you money, and so you're thinking, yay, I'm getting money. But you need to know, if even when you're not giving him some, he's still giving you some money. He ain't avocado. You know what I mean? So no, I think for the safety of yourself and for you to be able to have certain critical conversations, do not have sex until you get married. I think the best way to prevent sex before marriage is to ensure you're never in a place that makes it conducive for you to have sex before marriage. So, and the one place is very clear. It's very being in a secluded place, the two of you. That's it. That's just a recipe. So as long as you find that you're going into a time or a space or a place where it's just the two of you and nobody else is around, that's a recipe for disaster immediately. Do I think you can have some really interesting conversations like sexting over the phone? I think you're arousing certain feelings and emotions that will kind of get you into trouble, because then when you meet, you'll start wanting to go and act on those, right? And yet, it will get you into trouble. So I think wait it out. Yeah, wait it out, because the truth is you're gonna have sex all your life. You don't want to rush it. I promise you, you'll remember me. You remember these words that I'm saying. Yeah. I think I've said it in like one of the questions before. It really does matter. Be with a person who makes you feel good about yourself. Not about them, but good about yourself. If you're feeling judged and therefore feeling less of yourself, that's not a good relationship to be in. And so I think you need to communicate that you feel judged and unappreciated for being yourself, and you feel like you're being forced to be somebody else, and request a person, your significant other, to treat you differently. If they don't, you're not married. Run. Run. Whew, good question. My biggest one: get married to someone who's in an actual relationship with God. Not just because they like going to church, because they go to church, because they call themselves Christian, whatever. The reason I say this is because You need a person who can listen from God, and like actually listen from God, not these things of where they say I heard, like not because they pray on Sunday. No, someone who actually has a relationship with God, because there's so many things that are solved with having that relationship with God. So if he hears from God, you don't have to tell him that he was rude to you. You don't have to tell him that you're having like he was proud. All of that is solved because he already has a prior relationship with God. Now, for those of us who are not born again, not Christian, and are looking for the answer, I would say get married to a kind person. Kind. Because you see, the thing about a kind person is if you tell them something, they are kind. They get the information. They are kind. Kind people. They're not rude. They're not mean. They're not self-seeking. They just get a kind person. Yeah. Everything else will work out. Get a kind person. The conversation on different religions, I feel, has been really spoken about. The truth is, when you're two religions, there's so many things that you're not going to agree on. And already when you're the same religion, you're already not agreeing on so many fronts, like just because of life. And then you bring in religion, and then you're not going to agree. Or you bring in a difference in tribe, there's so many things you're not going to agree on. You bring in anything that for which you're different, because my mom used to keep saying growing up that you and your brothers are exactly from the same mother and the same father, but you still fight. How much more somebody from another mother, another father, another place that they've grown up in, and then on top of that you put the fundamental difference like religion, fundamental differences like tribe, you know, those big huge differences like man-woman differences, right? Man-woman difference, you're already going to have a challenge. But now you add some fun. So if you can prevent certain fundamental differences, it will be way better for you. But if you can't and you're already in it, I just want you to brace yourself for it, to brace yourself for the differences that you have in your lives, because now you're going to really be different. So what are you going to do on Christmas? What are you going to do on Eid? Now you grew up decorating a Christmas tree, but now you can't decorate a Christmas tree in your home anymore. And yes, probably now he's saying, yeah, you can decorate, but then his mom comes and she's like, what's a Christmas tree doing in this house? We don't celebrate Christmas. So there's so many fundamental differences that you're going to go through, and I just want you to brace yourself for what that is. You can't now come later crying foul that, oh my gosh, marriage is hard. It's already hard for people who are very similar. Yeah. Now imagine when you're not similar in fundamentally. So brace yourself for the differences that you're going to go through. Yeah. Do not check your partner's phone unless it has found you. Don't look for it. Don't look for it. But if it is there, it's only human that you will check it. But I would say don't look for it. I feel like it puts you under so much pressure. Also, what you're going to look for, you might or you might not find it. And then both ways, if you found it, actually you're fearing for, you know what? I'm going to leave a link to a ride with the Mulondos where I answered that question. It's either up here or in the description box. Find out what my opinion is on what, I should have said that. Yeah, on Ride with the Mulondos. Keep your own spark. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. I think one of the biggest issues we have as women is when we get into marriage, we think of our spouse as we want to be God who makes two one. Like you force yourself to make the two of you one. You're constantly trying to do what they want to do. You're constantly putting yourself in their lives. And for most men, they're not really like that. For most, they're not really like that. And so you become a burden. I want to tell you that when the Bible says two will become one, it means sexually, right? And then it will move on further, but that takes time. That becoming one takes time. So keep your personal spark. What did you love doing? What do you love doing? And do it and enjoy it, because most times that's actually why your spouse loved you. So because you're continuing to do what he found you already doing, then he therefore continues loving you. I mean, we had the biggest challenges in our marriage when I stopped doing what I love to do, or what he loved about me in the beginning. And when I decided, no, let me go back to who I was before, what I love to do. I mean, the truth is, I dress up for myself. I don't dress up for brand. I don't dress up for my children. I don't dress up for the public. I do it for myself. So when your spouse sees that you love yourself, they are super attracted to that. So you do you, darling. Do you. That's what he loved about you. And what he doesn't love about you, he will communicate about it, or you will fight about it. So you know what to remove, to edit, and what to keep, and that will keep your marriage sparkling. Or is that what you said? To keep the spark in your marriage. Yeah. You know it's time for you to let go of a relationship when you can't take it anymore. Yeah. When you absolutely cannot take it anymore. Because sometimes you have something left inside, but when it's gone, yeah, it's gone. But there's certain relationships when you have to let go of them immediately, where your life has been put in danger. Yeah, immediately that happens, that one you need to let go. But for the other ones, until you've reached your end, because you want to, by the time you leave the relationship, to say to them or to say to yourself, well, I did my all. Yeah. And as long as you can say, I did my all, that's it. You did your all. Dating advice, I did a video on girls who are just getting married, or who are single. I'm going to leave a link to that video right up here or in the description box. But the answer was being self-aware. That's like my number one advice for you. And then if you do get a boyfriend or a significant other and you're in courtship, I also provided some advice for you in the videos. So check out those videos. Ooh, baby girl. Okay, so two things that I have to say. One, there is power in submission. I feel bad that that's the situation that you're in, but there is power in submission, especially if it comes from God. Because if he's hearing from God, then that means that in accordance to how, that's why this thing of being in God is very important. It's extremely important, because then that means you're built on the foundation of Christ, and so he has heard from God about you, okay? And also God should have confirmed that to you. So one, there's power in submission, and sometimes you just need to show him that you're being submissive, that he will then say, you know what, you want to work? Okay, fine, work. Secondly, who said that stay-home moms don't work? Who in heaven told us that stay-at-home moms don't work? I mean, come on, this is 2022. You can work. You can work online. You don't have to go to an office for you to be employed. No, honey, you can work at home. If you don't know how to, there's someone on Instagram, she's called a Pretty Brainy Wife. She teaches stay-at-home moms how they can earn an income at home. Even Be Your Own Boss Babe does that. So please, darling, just because you're at home as a stay-at-home mom does not mean that you can't work. But also thirdly, I know I said 2 points, but there are 3, taking care of children is work, okay? And sometimes you have to look at it as, this is the work that I'm doing. It is good employment, quote unquote, because at the end of the day, your children will be the best versions, like they will be raised by you. And so I think it's important that you do. Now, moving forward, what I think you can do is have discussions with your significant other on things like maintenance for you at home, taking breaks for you, going on leave, because people who work go on leave for like a month. So you'll need to go on leave. Things like property and what your contribution to the family is by you being a stay-at-home mom. Because you say, you know, if ever I was a stay-at-home mom, I would tell my husband, when we buy land, 50% still is mine because I've chosen to stay home with the children. If I hadn't, I would have brought 50% of the cash to buy that land. So with me staying at home, I still own 50%. If you get that ready, girl, stay home with your babies. You're still working. Oh, honey, there's a lot about marriage that I still don't understand. I don't understand why we still stay together even when we have so many fights. Like, I don't get it. Like, how do I fight with you now at 10 a.m. and then at 12 p.m. I want to tell you something funny that happened? Like, I just don't understand it. Like, how does that work? I don't understand things like our children. Like, we give birth to these children, we absolutely love them, and guess what? When they're 18, they leave the home and they leave us, and so I gave birth for the country. Like, that's so sad. Like, why? I still don't understand why, even after all that we go through as married couples, people break up. Like, after 18, 20 years, I'm just like, how? Why? I don't understand why compromise is so difficult. I don't get submission 100%. I really don't. I don't. I'm learning, but I really honestly don't understand it. I don't understand how now moving forward in life, and how in the changes of the world and how the world is changing, I don't understand how our roles are now going to be, because my husband can cook and I can cook, and my husband can work and bring money home and I can work and bring money at home. So what's going to be that? There's just so much about marriage that I don't understand. Why is it that when one person in their lifetime, one person wants to have, is really excited about sex, the other is not, and then it switches like later for women? I don't understand. I feel like sometimes God just looks at marriage and he laughs at us. He's just like, let's wait. I don't understand how unlike poles can be so attracted. Like, I don't get it. And then when they are attracted, they come together, they're now telling the other one to be like them, so that now they are like poles. I just don't get that. I don't understand how when we're together, the things that I liked about you are now the things that I don't like about you. Yeah, it's a maze, and I'm still in it. Yeah, still am. It's normal not to feel, because love is not a feeling. Love is not a feeling. Love is an action. And if you don't know what I mean, check 1 Corinthians 13. It is kind. It is not jealous. That's what love is. Love, honey, love is not a feeling. It's an action, and some people say it's a choice. So yeah, it's normal that the butterflies go, the feelings go, and then what you're left with is like you're at home with your brother. Yeah. It does happen, and so it's normal. Yeah. So I don't control it. Yeah, I'm moody. I'm a woman. I'm hormonal. so I don't control anything. The truth is, I think it's just better to know when you're most hormonal, which is close to your menstrual period or after. We're all different, but there are times when you're moody and you can let your partner know and say, oh, I'm snapping. I'm snapping, so yeah, I'm not kawaii. I'm almost at my P's, yeah, so I'm extra sensitive and extra touchy. So I think knowing your own patterns first and then being able to communicate those patterns to your partner are very useful to help you navigate through the times that we go through the moods. But I don't try to regulate my moods. It's part of being human, it's part of being a woman, it's part of being feminine, and so I embrace it. And yeah, I'm cool. So I mean, before the pandemic, my kids were at the cradle, and that has always been their lives. So they'll always go to childcare. After the pandemic, I actually have a governess who always hangs with my kids. And if, I mean, she's not available, she's not around, usually the kids will be with my mom, or my brother, or they'll have a sleepover at my friend's home, one of my friends' homes, or one of their friends' homes. So yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, I think I'd never ever thought that I loved anyone, more than I ever did until our kids came. Like, I didn't know that sort of love. Like, that love was very, I couldn't describe it. And so I felt a certain way about the kids. I was extra protective around them. It was obviously different. Like, I don't know who says that it doesn't change you having children, but it does change you. So some of the decisions that you could have let go, now that you have children, you can't let go. Like, your husband goes out late in the night, most times you would say, you'd get annoyed that he's out late in the night because he's not there for you. But now you have kids, so you're thinking about, what if you got an accident and so your children wouldn't have a father anymore? What if, like, all your what ifs have everything to do with the kids? So yes, life does change immediately your kids come through, and so it does also affect your relationship. Yep. So unfortunately, I'm not trained to be a counselor, and so I can't be nobody's counselor, which actually helps, which actually leads me to a disclaimer to all the answers that I've given. They are not cast in stone, they are not right necessarily, they are just my opinion. Okay, so you need to go for all these questions, ask yourself these questions, sit down with yourself as you and answer them. Don't take my word for it. I'm just sharing my opinion, and my opinion can be wrong. So hey, make sure you're doing what's good for you. Now I'm done with all the questions, and now that the disclaimer is out there, I guess it's time for me to say goodbye now. Until next time, see you. Bye bye. Mwah.